brings in ribs, he brings in chicken, he brings in alcohol, and the band and Jay are just three sheets to the wind. So that yelling, howling, nasty, gothic horror film version that is 2 minutes and 25 seconds long, it changed Jay Hawkins' life forever. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to day number 24 of the Black Music Month 30 series here on the Groove Line with your boy Chris Stevens. Hopefully, you all are doing well out there. This is day number 3 of our It's Rock Week. I forgot that fast. See, the days all run together when you're doing a project like this. But yeah, this is our Rock Week, and we're going to talk about the pioneer of shock rock today. Very excited to talk about this gentleman. We're going to talk about one song in particular. If you see the title of the video, you already know what it is. We're going to talk about this gentleman today, Mr. Screamin Jay Hawkins, born in Cleveland, Ohio in 1929, died in a Paris hospital in 2000 after emergency surgery for aneurysm. And as you can tell, Jay Hawkins scared the bejabbers out of a lot of people. Just look at him on stage. Like, this dude literally leaned into the shock rock thing. And it's so funny because his life story, how much of it is true is still up for debate because we never really knew for sure because there was never an official Screamin Jay Hawkins biography, even though there is a Jay Hawkins documentary called I Put a Spell on Me. I haven't seen that yet. I'm gonna have to check that out. But he was born the fourth of it was his mother's last child. She had three girls before him. Said it was too much to feed a boy, so she sent him off to the orphanage that she oversaw, which was kind of strange because I mean, if the boy is already in your care, why would you put him in an orphanage that you're running? But this was the Great Depression. People did weird things and strange things to pretty much stay alive, and adopted putting one of your kids up for adoption in a home that you run is just one of those things. But he took to music very early, and he learned piano first, and then he learned guitar in his 20s. And apparently, he told his music teacher to leave him alone because he was going to make the music teacher miserable. He said, "The way I'm going to do music is not the way you're going to teach it, so you might as well go ahead and get out of here now." Which is, apparently Jay just lived by his own creed from the word go. In fact, he dropped out of high school at 16 and faked his birth certificate to join the army after World War II ended. I don't know why you'd want to join the army after a world war. I would think that you want to avoid any more future conflicts as much as possible. But that's what he decided to do. And then once he got out, he started performing, and he went solo. And one of the first songs he recorded was a song called "I Put a Spell on You," and this came out in the fall of 1956. So that means the original recording is going to be 70 years old this October. And he had it in mind. He wrote it with Herb Slotkin. It was supposed to be a ballad, but the producer at the time, they weren't feeling it. So the producer at the time for the session said, "I know what y'all need to do. Y'all need to loosen up." So according to Jay, he brings in ribs, he brings in chicken, he brings in alcohol, and the band and Jay are just three sheets to the wind. So that yelling, howling, nasty, gothic horror film version that is 2 minutes and 25 seconds long, it changed Jay Hawkins' life forever. In fact, it was one of those first banned records. We talk about the Censor 13 or the Naughty 13 or whatever Tipper Gore called those songs back in the mid 80s. Jay Hawkins was ahead of his time with that because they wouldn't play that version of "I Put a Spell on You" because at the end it sounds like they called it cannibalism, and apparently because he was doing all this grunting and growling and snorting and all of that like a deranged person. And apparently the NAACP had beef with this song too because I guess it was too voodoo for them. It made them, we have our feelings about how black people are viewed in the court of public opinion by white folks. We need to stop caring about that, to be quite honest with you. But yeah, apparently the NAACP was absolutely aghast at Screamin Jay Hawkins' version of "I Put a Spell on You." But apparently the record sold 1 million copies anyway, so it really didn't make that much difference. And that's when Jay really leaned into the whole gothic, sort of, I guess you'd call it a horror movie persona, because there was a radio DJ by the name of Alan Freed who was putting on shows in New York. He said, "Jay, you know what really make your show hot with this song? if you got out of a coffin. And Jay told Alan, he said, people who usually get in coffins don't get out. No, thank you. Then Alan Freed put up another $2,000. Now, $2,000 in the late 50s, early 60s sounds like a lot of money, and it probably was. So Jay said, "All right, I'll do it." And after a while, that just became part of his act. He bought it. He had a shrunken skull on stage. He would put bones in his nose. He would come out in like Dracula capes and all of that stuff. Like Jay Hawkins, Screaming Jay Hawkins was all the way live, all the way live, and he is considered the first shock rocker. When you look at what Ozzy Osbourne was doing, with biting the heads off of birds. When you look at what Alice Cooper used to do with his snake and all of that good stuff, they were 15 years late to the game because Screaming Jay Hawkins was already doing all this kind of bizarre witch doctor voodoo kind of shenanigans with his routine on stage. And he put out a lot more records, but none really had the same effect because remember, Nina Simone covered "I Put a Spell on You" in 1965 and it ended up going top 30 on the R&B charts. Her version, of course, is more Nina Simone-ish, but the original version of Screaming Jay Hawkins, that version of "I Put a Spell on You" lived on further into the 90s because if you remember the song B.I.G. did on Life After Death, "Kick in the Door," DJ Premier, he's Premier sampled that saxophone stab from the Jay Hawkins version of "I Put a Spell on You." And that is how you get that burr, 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 burr. This goes out to those who choose to, yeah, you know this, the song. But yeah, those are Jay Hawkins band saxophone because you hear the original version is real so burr, 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 burr. And Preem just took those saxophone stabs and just made them a part of this real menacing little beat where Biggie's just talking his trash about being the king of New York and all of that. So that song, the original version, the original version of "I Put a Spell on You," it's him screaming and hollering through the whole thing about "I put a spell on you because you're mad." And like, what's wrong with this man? Like, is he on crack? We found out later he was on alcoholic substances. Apparently, for about 15, 20 years after he recorded the song, he said he could never do it drunk, but then he figured out he didn't need to be drunk, so he sobered up and could do a real good version of "I Put a Spell on You" without being sufficiently sauced. And he lived an interesting life off stage. He was married many times, and according to his conservative estimates, when they are filming the documentary, he says he had between 57 and 75 children. Yeah, yeah. And apparently, through DNA testing, 33 of those could be confirmed, and 12 of them actually met each other at one point in time. So Screaming Jay Hawkins, a wild boy, a wild, wild boy. He said, he came into the world naked, black, and ugly. He said he's going to leave the same way, so he might as well enjoy it. But between 57 and 75 kids, that's a little too much enjoyment, I would say. But his legacy is secure. Again, he's the first shock rocker. Everybody started to see this crazy ass black dude in a Dracula cape with bones in his nose, a shrunken skull, and "I'll put a spell on you." Like, nuts, absolutely nuts. And he made himself a nice career out of it. Anytime that you can buy a home in Hawaii off the earnings of "I Put a Spell on You," your money wasn't funny. Your money was good. So just again, an incredible. Again, he died at 70 from an aneurysm. I guess his body and God or the universe figured, all right, man, you done enough in this lifetime. You didn't put out these crazy records. You done made all these kids. You've I don't know if we can call it job well done, humble, faithful servant, but I guess that was the end of the line for Jay Hawkins, but he's still remembered very fondly to this day. And, you know, again, black folks have roots in rock and roll, and that includes shock rock. And Screaming Jay Hawkins was the first. And that's going to do it for this edition of the Black Music Month 30 series here on the Groove Line, day 23. So that means this is day 24. I'm sorry. So we are in the final week of our Black Music Month 30 series. We got a lot of stuff left for you guys to check out. So thank you guys for checking us out. As always, contact information will be in the description below. Don't forget to subscribe, tap that notification bell to be notified of all new videos that drop on the channel. And don't forget to like and comment on these videos because as you know by now, your boy talks back in the comments. So thank you guys for riding with me on the Groove Line. And until the next time we ride, may you find the groove or may the groove find you.